In the case of Catherine Engelbrecht, it seemed the IRS was dragging its feet in granting her tax-exempt status. But there are a lot of other government agencies, and she seemed to be keeping them plenty busy. Catherine Engelbrecht applied for tax-exempt status for her political groups in mid-2010. She endured more than 3 years of inaction from the IRS. By late 2013, after becoming a poster child for alleged IRS abuse, her groups were finally granted tax-exempt status. But during that long wait, the IRS kept her occupied in other ways. Aside from the tax-exempt business,
right,
you had more run-ins with the IRS. Tell us about that.
The IRS showed up to audit our business, and we'd never been audited before, so here again you think, well, maybe I just drew the short straw. And we went through the audits. Those audits of our businesses led to personal audits.
In fact, it suddenly seemed the government was interested in every aspect of Engelbrecht's life. In December of 2010, FBI agents made a surprise visit to the meeting place of her Tea Party group, the King Street Patriots in Houston, to ask Engelbrecht a series of questions.
It was the domestic terrorism unit, and they wanted information on somebody that attended one of our meetings.
You think the FBI thought you were involved with terrorists?
I don't know what they thought.
Did they ever offer you an explanation as to why they were asking all these questions?
No.
And they either showed up or called you to check up half a dozen times?
Right.
That doesn't happen to most people.
So they tell me.
Then in February 2012, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms showed up unannounced at the Engelbrecht's manufacturing business in Rosenberg, Texas. As it happens, the Engelbrechts are licensed to manufacture firearms. They say they never have.
We don't make them.
Had you ever had this kind of inspection before from the ATF?
No. No.
What were they looking for?
They were looking for a way to scare us.
In July of 2012, yet another federal agency, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, showed up unannounced at the Engelbrecht's business to conduct a surprise inspection. After spending 2 full days scouring the business for workplace violations, OSHA found several infractions. For example, a forklift operator wasn't using a seatbelt. OSHA imposed some hefty fines.
I think our tally for that little tour was about $22,000, something like that.
$22,000?
Maybe a little more than that.
So 4 federal agencies are now looking at the Engelbrechts: the IRS, the ATF, the FBI, and OSHA. Isn't it possible that this was all just a coincidence?
Wouldn't that be great? But you start stacking it all up, and at some point, you know, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
We called up these agencies and asked for a response. The IRS said they were legally prevented from disclosing any information. The FBI did not reply. The ATF said they were within their rights to make a warrantless inspection, and OSHA said theirs was just a routine random inspection. Did you ever ask any of these agents or agencies why the sudden interest in you and your lives?
No, they were just following orders.
Where did the orders come from?
There's the question.
In addition to all this attention from government agencies, Engelbrecht was soon piquing the interest of some high-placed names in Washington. Some Democrats complained that electoral watchdog groups such as True the Vote were really engaged in voter suppression, particularly of minorities.
What True to Vote does is zero in on students, African Americans, people who would normally vote Democratic.
Just days before the election, Robert Bauer, serving as general counsel of Obama for America, a man who had been demanding investigations into Republican groups for years, issued a memorandum claiming that True the Vote was part of a Republican disenfranchisement program engaged in possibly illegal intimidation tactics. What did you think when you saw that memo?
I thought, boy, that puts it in the West Wing, doesn't it?
Here you have the former White House counsel to President Obama and the former general counsel to his re-election campaign and the Democratic National Committee accusing you of some pretty horrendous things. How did that feel?
I know who we are. I know what we do. I know what we're about. They're lies.
You have been quoted as saying that they picked the wrong chick. What do you mean by that?
That if this is an attempt to silence me, it's they've got another thing coming. I know exactly what I'm here to do, and I mean to do it. And I'm not the only one. I'm speaking for thousands, maybe tens of thousands, maybe more citizens who've had these types of experiences. We will not be silenced.
Catherine Engelbrecht has been dealing with the government for 4 years now. But when we come back, we'll rejoin Wayne Hage, whose family has been battling the government through 6 separate administrations. How did his story end? Or has it?